Welcome to the TutorFi classroom, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create workspace regions in your whiteboard. This is something that is recommended to do before your student arrives for the tutoring session. I'm first going to create a text box that will welcome my student. So I clicked on the A for text. I'm going to change the size to 32 point, and I'm also going to change the color of the text, and you've got a wide variety of colors here to choose from. And then when I click and drag the box horizontally, I can type in my welcome. And then I can reposition the box by clicking on the selector tool and move the box like so. I'm also going to put a straight line underneath the box. I'm going to keep the defaults, which is black and 2 pixels wide, starting from one side of the screen and drawing across the screen to basically underline the welcome. And now I've got a fairly large blank space that I'm going to divide into regions by using rectangles. I'm going to turn the stroke off so that the rectangle has no outline. And for the fill color, I'm going to choose the major colors rather than the shades. So I'm going to start with yellow and estimate half of the region that's left as my starting point and drag across to half of the width of the screen. So there's my first region. Then I'm going to pick another color and do the same thing, starting where I left off and dragging across. And then finally a third color, and I'll adjust the sizes of these boxes soon because they're not exactly proportional. To change the size, click on the selector tool and the box, and then you can adjust height and width. And that's what I'm doing. So this is the way to divide up your work area so you can have a practice area for the teacher to set up a problem or an example for the student. And then you also have a student work area. Actually, you've got 3 student work areas. The student can work in all 3 of these, and it's a more effective use of the classroom. Now, if your problem, depending on, let's say, the math level, is a more complex problem that requires more space, you can make adjustments to this layout in that you can have 2 regions or 3 regions, but you want to have a tutor's work area, one that you will work in, as well as at least a couple student work areas to set up your classroom before your student arrives. I will now give you an example of using a text problem for your student that you're tutoring. The X's that I had drawn before represented some kind of information, some kind of example, not necessarily a math example. So let me get rid of those X's, and actually I'm also going to get rid of one of the colored boxes because I want to paste in some text that I have saved to my clipboard. And I'm going to create a text box. And then within that text box, go back to the 10-point and black font size, and then Control V to paste in some text that I had in another document, in this case a Google document. And notice it formats it differently than what was in the original document. The from line was, the from and the hyperlink was on a different line. It was also spaced differently. In order to add carriage returns in our text boxes, you need to use the space bar. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting in a lot of spaces to add an extra blank line. And that's copying in a text box. And your student can type in text boxes. They can handwrite. Once they've created a box, you adjust the size with the handles. You can also move the box around. So you can use this with text. You cannot insert images. So that's a reading example for setting up the classroom in advance. You can also create these text box, or these colored square work areas rather, on the fly, that is during your session. It doesn't have to be just before the session starts. Thank you for watching.